Hello all, and welcome back to my Darkseed 2 guide read, written by Leanne Morris. Today, I'm going to tackle Chapter 4, Interview with a Head Shrinker. You have nothing else to explore in the downtown area, so move back to the Crowley map screen. Once it pops up, Mike announces he's got a splitting headache. This is always your clue to go see Dr. Sims. Placebos or not, he provides the only medical attention Mike gets. The business district looks better kept than the downtown area. Benches and tables line the shady street, and it looks like someone has bought the real estate and tried to revitalize the area. Dr. Sims's modest office is surprisingly located next to a large hardware store. The town council has probably been trying to pull the owner's lease for months so some trendy clothing store or gift shop can move in. Maybe they've succeeded. A sign on the hardware store says that it's closed for 2 weeks. Mike says Paul Cooper has owned the store for about a year. Paul lives just down the street, across from Rita's house. Dr. Sims's office. But Mike's in too much pain to think about urban planning now. He stumbles into Dr. Sims's office and collapses on a leather couch. Dr. Sims seems reassuring. He's tall and thin with a receding hairline and a beard. He takes constant notes and says "uh-huh" at the right times. He's evidently a Freudian, since a large painting of one of Cuba's finest exports bears the legend, "No es un cigarro." He sits in a leather chair by the couch. A grandfather clock marks the time for each session, and a desk supports a tall pile of files. The room has no windows, but doesn't seem claustrophobic. Mike tells Dr. Sims about the nightmares he's been having, and that he's also been dreaming about Rita. The psychiatrist calms him, telling Mike that it's not unusual for him to have blocked out the night of the reunion because of the shock of Rita's death. It turns out that Sheriff Butler is keeping busy. He's already been by to question the doctor, who says he told the lawman he thought Mike was incapable of murder. That's what he claims he told the sheriff anyway. You also learn, startlingly, that Jack doesn't know about the Dark World. Mike says that he's told only doctors about the Dark World. They, in turn, seem to think his visions are hallucinations. Mike insists that he trusts Jack, but Dr. Sims seems to be as suspicious about Jack as Jack is about the doctor. He tells Mike to consider severing his relationship with his friend. Because the pills, placebos, he gave Mike don't seem to work, Dr. Sims suggests hypnosis to help explain Mike's nightmares. Mike takes only a little convincing, which proves that he's not played as many adventure games as the rest of us. The hypnosis brings on a terrifying nightmare. In Mike's vision, he and Rita are outside of the reunion site, but they're in the Dark World. Rita is wearing a very unlibrarian-like black dress. Mike, of course, evidently only has the one outfit. And the two of them are arguing. She says that Mike's become a loner since high school and won't meet her friends. He says she always seems too busy with her reading group or library business to have time for him. Rita leaves a drunken Mike behind, claiming to be going to meet a friend. Mike calls after her.
Fine. Just walk away. I hope the boogeyman gets you.
She walks down a metal grating that ends in a wide platform over a chasm. She hears a noise behind her, but no one appears. Suddenly the platform gives way, and Rita falls through the hole, past tall shafts and into a river of blood. When Mike awakens from his dream, his headache is gone and he can remember the fight he had with Rita, although he tells Dr. Sims that his memories are fuzzy. They're both pleased with the success of this couch trip and plan further hypnosis sessions. When Mike tells Dr. Sims that he has to go meet Jack, the psychiatrist says again that Jack isn't a good influence on Mike. Paul Cooper's house. Once Mike is back on the street outside of Dr. Sims's office, have him walk past the hardware store and exit to the right. Paul Cooper's house and Rita's old place are down the road. Paul is so weird that it makes Slim look like the poster child for mental health. To be fair, Paul is just a robot that likes to water his lawn, but, whatever. He lives in a rundown wood frame house, recognizable because the roof is covered with patio furniture. Paul's about 10 years older than Mike and can usually be found watering his front lawn, and watering it, as the Cooper-O-Matic does. As a matter of fact, Paul's entire life seems to revolve around the health and welfare of each little blade of grass. He's taken his first vacation in 3 years just to water the lawn. Got to get it ready for the messenger, he says. He'll water his lawn as long as he can. The bill's paid through the end of the month, so unless the world ends before then, it'll stay green that long. The patio furniture is on the roof so it won't get rusty from all the water. Paul offers understanding when Mike tells him that he keeps wandering back to Rita's neighborhood. Although he was her neighbor, Paul didn't know Rita more than to wave hi to her, but the murder was terrible news just the same. Old man Ramirez was a customer of Paul's as well as a big reader, and the hardware store owner thinks there's something fishy about his death too. And as long as he's gossiping, he throws another tidbit. Jimmy was hanging around Rita's house the night she was murdered. He seemed to have been waiting for someone, but Paul never saw anyone arrive. Mike, in his usual subtle way, ends the conversation by saying Paul is just too weird. You've got to admire that kind of forthrightness, and admire Paul even more for not decking Mike. Rita's house. Rita's house is just down from Paul's, but it looks like you've crossed to the wrong side of the tracks. While Paul's front yard looked neat and, God knows, green, the vacant lot across from Rita's house is cluttered with tires and broken toys, and the telephone poles are covered with flyers, including one for a missing dog that resembles one of the toys. A realtor's sign is peppered with bullet holes. Her house, however, is a large 2-story job. Deputy Brown stands guard in front of Rita's house, keeping Mike from going inside, for now at least. Deputy Brown is reluctant to talk to Mike, and rightfully so. But evidently he's more bored than fond of his badge. After all, it's been a week since the murder, and Rita wasn't even killed in her house. As far as he knows, he's just trying to keep vandals away until the FBI gets a chance to search the house for additional evidence. Or any evidence, for that matter. Mike, using that subtle touch again, inquires if he can go in the house. Naturally, Deputy Brown refuses. Then Mike discreetly asks when the deputy's shift is over, but it looks like nothing short of an emergency can pull him away. Maybe that can be arranged before too long. Because the deputy blessedly seems lacking in redneck mentality, Mike figures he probably doesn't think much of Sheriff Butler. But it's Mayor Fleming that the deputy dislikes. He thinks the mayor called in the FBI to clear up the murder quickly before re-election time. The vacant lot in front of Rita's house represents the intrusion of the dark world on Rita's home. At least according to the book here. That's kind of a neat tidbit. I guess it was saying that in the instruction manual as well. Time for the last section of the chapter, back at home. Whoops! Don't forget that Mike promised to meet Jack after his appointment with Dr. Sims. Because Mike seems to have no way to get in touch with the biker, he had better not keep him waiting. Jack drives up as soon as Mike sits down on his front porch. He's full of plans to help solve Rita's murder, only he doesn't relate well with the people in town and wants Mike to do the footwork. Like the prime suspect isn't going to get noticed. He picked up more information from Deputy Brown in the diner that morning than the policeman shared with you. For example, the deputy thinks possible suspects in the crime include Mayor Fleming and Doc Larson. Jack agrees with the deputy. He once saw Rita cozily sitting with the mayor in his car. Even more incriminating, Doc Larson seems to have a stream of females visiting him at the morgue, which is not your typical makeout spot. And Rita was known to deliver his medical textbooks personally, if you follow the drift. Of course, Rita seemed to have bulldozed her way through all of the eligible and ineligible men of Crowley. Jack also tells Mike that she dated Sheriff Butler before Mike came back to town. That gives Mike 3 people to check out, and conveniently for you, they all have offices in the Civic Center. After Jack leaves, Mike zips into the house to speak to his mother. My life is a living hell, he tells her. In her typical maternal and affectionate way, she replies, "Oh, Mike, I can't talk to you anymore. You're just too depressing." Psycho, the early years. You've not picked up anything new for his inventory, but Mike has now met Dr. Sims, Paul Cooper, and Deputy Brown. All right, let's go back to the pictures and read the captions underneath. Go to Dr. Sims' office whenever Mike has a headache. The psychiatrist can cure the headaches through hypnosis and precipitate some bizarre visions as well. That he can. While under hypnosis, Mike remembers having a fight with Rita the night she died. Okay, so it's kind of funny. Paul is one strange cookie in a Nabisco town. His lawn should be afloat by now, but he just keeps watering it. Because that is what the Cooper-O-Matic does. Deputy Brown is too conscientious to let Mike inside Rita's house, but he will pass along a few rumors. And that was it. Oh, I thought there was one more. Alright, well that's chapter 4. So, hope you enjoyed that read. As always, thank you for watching. Hey y'all, a beta version demo of my game, Tales of Hyperia the Crimson Knight, is available to play over at my itch.io page. The link is down in the description. The final demo version is set to release by the end of the year, and will see massive improvements and upscaling. Make sure you stay tuned for updates.